It's the Right Rican. And today I am doing an interview. I'm here talking with Marissa Meleske. And I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Marissa Meleske.
Marissa.
I'm from New York. No, it's okay.
I screwed up already.
It's okay.
But at least I got the
Um,
last name.
yeah, that's usually where people screw up. But you're good. It's fine.
So you said your name's Marissa Meleske and introduce your channel. I want you to introduce your channel and then we'll get into how we met and stuff.
Okay. I've been on YouTube for 11, 12 years now. My channel is Marissa Meleske. But the @ is youtube.com/Marissa 1R 2S's 11586.
All right. I'll put that into the description. So yeah, no, I wanted to get into the funny story and how we met because you you could say how you found me and then I found you. So um you want to talk about
Well,
what you were doing when you found me?
I found him on YouTube when I was looking up Am I the Only One reviews
Which is
because
kind of
I'm
funny
obsessed
because
with them.
you're not the only one
No,
that thought
we're
about
not.
doing a review.
Anybody
So
watching, anybody, because I've actually come across a couple of people who haven't listened to it. They've heard of it because it's
uh-huh.
over 1 million views now. So
Yeah.
they're not your video, the
Yeah,
song,
yeah, no.
but whoever hasn't listened to it yet, go listen to it.
Yes, and I sent it to friends of mine from church.
Mhm. Oh
And
god.
yeah, I sent them the explicit version, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I know some of them don't like the cursing, and I told
Hmm.
them, look, listen. I said sometimes a good expletive just really relays passion, and it's like,
Hmm.
so I'm sorry. I'm like, they have a censored version if you want to listen to it, but I personally, since I've been listening to Stain for years,
Hmm.
I love that he'll throw in an F bomb in a song, and it's like, you know what? But it fits.
It does, and it gives the emotion, and it makes people relate to it more. I feel
No,
like because if you listen to it on paper, well, if you read it on paper, everything he says is true, but then when you put it into the song and then you go by your day to day of what we've been living through, the emotions are there. I'm
yes,
sorry.
no, I mean, it's great. Did you also see the live version?
I've seen a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was laughing. And then they played another song of his, if I was a liberal.
Oh, I love that one too. I if Am I the Only One's better, but that one's good too.
Yes, no, no,
He's playing in Atlantic City the day after my birthday in November. I
oh,
really want to go.
oh, let me know because I'm like, I would love to see him live. I would
Oh
love,
yeah. And now I would love to see him live.
yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see him live when, before, like, um, I love like Break the Cycles, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Hmm.
And 14 Shades of Grey. Right? I think that's the name of it, right? Do you know the albums?
I'm not sure. I wasn't a super fan of that. I liked Stained, but I wasn't like a super fan. Now I'm a super fan of him. He could put out
Oh,
anything, and I'll be a fan now.
oh, then you have to go back and listen to Break the Cycle.
Okay.
It's really um it's emotional. Like you go through there, it's emotional roller coaster with the songs. Like that not there's not I would say there's not one bad song on that album. There's just preference of which songs I like better than the others. That's
Okay.
usually there's
That's
songs on an album where you're
that
like,
you can skip.
yeah, I'm like, I don't want to listen to, I don't really like to listen to that one. I don't like that one. No, the whole album is good.
I'll check it out.
Especially I think the last song is like an acoustic version of the main hit. I think is
Hmm.
Right Here. Is it Right Here or Outside? One of the two. I forget which is the acoustic version. But so yeah, so well, since we got out how we met and before we get to the tangent on music, um I wanted to hit on your channel because the name of your channel you gave but the what was it, is Push Past Paralysis is also your
That's my slogan, but I couldn't change it on YouTube because I guess once you what do they call it?
Once you create the channel,
Word.
or
No, not even once you make your URL specific, you can't change it. Whatever that's called. The word is escaping me right now, but once you pick your own personal URL, you can't change it.
Gotcha. No, but I saw that with you, and I was like, like I said, you found me, and then I saw your videos, and I was like, I love this girl. I mean, I love your attitude. Well, because you could, you could live life and be miserable, and choose to be miserable, and put, let's say, blame God or blame whoever for the way your life is, or you could embrace it and take the bulls by the horn and live your life. And that's what I get from your videos. It's like you're just like, I'm gonna be me, and there's no apologies.
Well, there's two things. If you believe that God, assigns us to what he assigns us, then I go by the Randy Pouch saying, you cannot change the cards you are dealt, just how you play the hand. But I believe that you can, because I feel like we as souls, before we come here, we choose the lessons that we're going to learn and the life that we're going to live. And I don't think God makes mistakes. So I feel like I would be insulting him if I choose to live my life in like a sour way.
No, that's beautiful. Like I said, I love that. I have, I talk about it on my channel too. I mean, especially on my interviews, because I have a special needs son. He's about to be 14 next month, and so I try to, everybody, like people, when they interact with him and they ask me questions, and they're like, oh, and how am I supposed to be with him? And I'm like, be with him like he's any normal boy.
Thank
Don't
you.
don't treat him different. Don't, I understand you might be scared, but he's not, like, I have issues sometimes with some family members, where it's like they're afraid they're gonna break him, and I'm like, no, he's
No.
he's like any 14-year-old. He might break you before you break him.
Yeah, he's a boy. He
He's a
probably
boy.
will.
Yeah, I mean, he has a CP. He has hydrocephalus. So his right arm is the weak one, but his left is, you got to be careful with that left.
His left makes up for it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. It's like, if he catches you, sometimes he'll catch you with a hit, and you're like, that came from you.
When I was little, my uncle was holding me, and I forgot how old I was. It had to have been younger than 5. And he told me to punch him in the nose. So I did. And he had a bloody nose after that.
No, I mean,
he told me to.
He told you to. It's like, my cousin, my son's godfather, when he was little, he used to, with his boys, he used to smack him in the chest and go, man up, as a game with the boys. Boys like to be roughhouse.
Oh yeah.
And he used to do it with Antonio too, because Antonio, when he would see him do it to the other boys, he would laugh. So finally, my cousin did it to him, and at first Antonio was startled, but then he started laughing about it. So now to this day, I'll be like, man up, and he'll go.
That's cute.
So, but that's what people sometimes want to. The funniest thing is sometimes with the kids. And sometimes parents will get embarrassed about it. And like one boy, we were at the pool the other day, and he goes, why is he in the stroller for? And the parent wasn't around, but I've had kids ask that to their parent, and I see, and I'm like, you don't have to be afraid of us. You could come
Mm-hmm.
speak. I'd rather you, instead of shooing the kid and going shh, no, I'd rather you know what, come, let him learn by
Exactly.
seeing, and seeing my son and interacting with my son, as opposed to, you telling him something that may not even be accurate or correct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How do you
Or
feel?
staring and pointing,
Oh yeah,
or not asking anything in the moment, asking when they get home and their parent has no idea.
yeah,
I feel like n- making a kid or even having adults stare, because I've had that a time or two.
mm,
Not much, but I've had adults look at me like I have three heads. And I would just rather you ask me. Like, if you're afraid of it coming out rude or stupid or whatever, we all say stupid things. Like, just ask me, and I won't. 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, I won't be offended.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
just
you do have some people who, are overly sensitive that you can't ask questions to. Like, um, I have a cousin, I was telling you about, where you can't, like, when he was a kid, you couldn't tell him anything. You still can't tell him anything, because it's like, I'm a um uh what is it? I'm racist. He called me racist. Okay, we're cousins. Okay, we're both Puerto Rican. He called me racist for saying him and I were privileged to both have both our parents growing up.
the racist, the privilege, all of that is just what.
And this was, so, like I said, and this is not something. This was like something like last year. I'm not talking about when we were kids. I'm talking about now as adults. He put something on Facebook. I commented, and I said the only privilege that we have is the fact that we were privileged enough to grow up with both our parents, because my parents have been married for over 50 years.
Wow.
And his parents have been married for let's see, Andy is 30, so probably almost 40 years they've been married. So in this life, if you're privileged, if you have, with the prevalence of divorce,
Yeah.
if you have both your parents growing up, you're privileged, because not
Yeah.
everybody has that, or at least that they're still married.
Yeah. Oh, my parents would have been married. I'm not even going to attempt to guess how many years at this point. Probably 35, 36. But he passed away almost 12 years ago.
Well,
6 years after that, it's going on 6 years,
uh,
we lost my brother to suicide. So
oof.
having one parent away definitely affects the kids in certain ways. And he was 24. He had just turned 24 when he
Yeah,
passed away.
it's hard. It's hard for males.
Sorry.
No, no, it's no. I got allergies.
Oh, okay.
Uh, no,
I have them too.
no, it's hard for boys and young men
Mm-hmm.
to express themselves. I mean, losing his father like that, he probably kept a lot of stuff inside, and that's
Yep.
that's why I made the joke when we were offline. If I cry, I'm sorry, because um, I've knowing how what kills men earlier than women, they say, is the fact that we keep all our emotions
Emotions in.
bottled in.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to sometimes I'll spew, and it's like, because I don't want to keep it in. I don't want to die at 50, because I keep all my emotions in.
Yeah. Well, that's good though.
So, but that's what was there any like signs? Because usually there's, was it just he just couldn't reach out to you? I mean, I'm sorry to ask if you
No,
don't.
no, no, it's fine. He battled with addiction and suicide for a while.
Okay. Yep. I know. I know that all too well. I have my uncle I had an uncle who died of AIDS because heroin addiction.
Mm-hmm. It honestly, it's such an epidemic, and then that's what like really annoys me about the last year and a half is okay, they can create, and granted we had somebody who actually worked for once, so maybe that's why it was quick, but they created, and maybe it was on purpose that way to show how quickly it can be done, even though nobody should take it, in my opinion. Um, but we still have addiction, we still have cancer, we still have heart disease, but something can come out of nowhere, supposedly, for a year and a half, and suddenly we have vaccines.
Well, from what
I don't know if I'm even allowed to say the word on here, but
from what I understand, a little bit I get from it, this particular way of making a vaccine, it's going to be like a lock and key. Supposedly, this is what from what I understand. So it's like the way they're doing it, um, you'll be able to do it with any disease, like any type of virus. That you basically, you just can make the key for the next virus that comes along.
I just think that's a way to keep us getting jabbed forever.
Oh, I'm there with you. I was just talking about that. I'm like, my son gets nursing services. He's about to start them over again, and they're like, "Oh, is he vaccinated?" I'm like, "No," and it's not going to happen.
No.
I said,
Nope.
I agree to the experiment. I'll leave him out of it. He could be the control group. Well, I took the jab. We went on vacation in May, and I didn't want to have to deal with any. I didn't want to deal with any shit. So I'm like, I'll just take the Johnson and Johnson. Is one shot, and
isn't that the one that was recalled?
But that was because of the women. It wasn't. The reactions were for young women. So like,
well, they might think that you identify as a woman, and you might.
no, I don't identify as a woman.
But I'm saying they might think you do, and then things just might start happening.
I have my XY chromosome, regardless of whatever I identify as. I could identify as an attack helicopter, but my XY chromosome says male. So
what worries me is not the immediate effects.
Yes.
Either. So like I worry about people a few years from now that and I feel like that's by design, because I feel like they don't want people who genuinely wanted to get it to think and attribute something that's going to happen down the road to the virus. And then they have it where you can't even sue if something does happen. So you're not going to see those. If you've had the such and such, you might be entitled to money. Nobody's going to get that.
Actually, you might, because instead of suing, the whole problem is instead of suing the manufacturer, they'll sue the government.
Yeah. They could. Government. I didn't even think about that loophole.
You have the vaccine court that's funded by taxpayers.
I didn't even think about that loophole. I just automatically went to, oh, okay, they say you can't sue. They must know that a lot of people are going to want to. But yeah, you could sue the government.
Because it's free. Who's paying for it? The government. We are. So you can sue the people who paid for it. May not be able to sue the people who made it. Trust me, the lawyers will find a way. They'll want to make their money.
Oh, and they're going to have plenty, I have a feeling, unfortunately. They're going to have plenty of people who want to make them some money.
Oh, of course. I mean,
I hope it's not you, but I'm just saying, like.
Oh, I hope it's not me either. That's why, like I said, that's why at least I took one shot, not two. You know, I don't have double the dose in me. I have one.
Oh, but they're going to tell you, you got to get a booster. You got to get a booster a year from now.
That's not going to happen. I'm like, I got one, be happy I got one. That's it. I'm like, I rather, honestly, it's like, what annoys me the most about everything that's going on with this is the fact that people want to forget that if you get the disease, you have some sort of immunity afterwards.
Antibodies.
It may not be perfect, but if you get it, like people were like, oh, well, you know, I got it, and then I got it again a couple of months later, and it's like, yeah, but you're alive, right? Because your body, was it a worse infection the second time? No, it was mild. Because you already had it once.
What they want to do is, and that's why they want to scare you with, oh, there's a new variant and it's more contagious and it's more deadly and it's more this. No, I heard it's more contagious but less deadly, like
Yeah.
much less deadly.
Yes. Yeah. No.
And I just, what scares me is, I'm not gonna dox the family member, but I had a family member who, in, I want to say November or December 19, got a flu shot that was stronger and more potent. So they were preparing this. I think they were paying for and getting the jab before they got the disease over here.
Well,
and I feel like they were experimenting with us.
Have you heard? Do you listen to Dan Bongino at all?
I don't have cable anymore. I got rid of it. So
no, it's not cable. He does.
Oh, his radio show? Not really.
Yeah. He does a. You got to check him out. He talks about the lab leak theory. He talks about the efficacy of the. He even talked about there's that how he basically, his theory is that it was a bioweapon.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, and he talked about it on YouTube. So hopefully we could talk about it without it getting nuked.
We've already said the V word. I'm afraid.
So, you could check him out. It's a great podcast. It's like, it's an hour a day. It gives you like the news, and I listen to him every day. Like, even if I don't listen to him, like let's say today if I had to listen to him today, I would have listened to it in the morning before his next show came out the following day, because it's just, he's really informative. He's and then a lot of websites, a lot of facts, a lot of statistics. So it's not one of those people he'll just say something and doesn't give you the
He's no TikTok type person.
No.
Another guy on his channel.
No, he's actually blowing up now. He's had his own podcast for a few years.
I think he blew up because of Parler.
Well,
he like a shareholder in
Parler, he started a shareholder. He's also a shareholder in Rumble. But not in Parler no more. He stopped investing.
Well, I figured that because Parler's gone, but
well, no, Parler still exists. What's her Candace Owens? Her husband, I think, is part of Parler.
Oh, okay.
But no, he's invested in Rumble, and yeah, so he does. So he has his Rumble show. He does a radio show 12 to 3, and on Saturdays he has a Fox News show at 10 o'clock at night.
And the 12 to 3, he took over Rush, right?
Yes and no.
Rush's spot, at least.
Yes and no, because he's doing the 12 for 3, but it's a different affiliate. Like, it's not. Okay. Let's say I think he's Clear Channel, and Rush was distributed by somebody else, but his show was so popular that some of the other people, like some of the other syndications, picked up his show for their locations.
Oh, okay.
So that's why yes, he took over that slot, but no, it's not. It's someone, I forget, the guy from Outkick. What's his name? Clay Travis, I think his name is Clay Travis, and someone else. They're also doing a 12 to 3 show in the Rush spot.
Yeah, I think we should defund all of them because they're still technically all part of MSM, which is the enemy.
Well, yes and no, because I look at it like this. I go, you have to, if you give up ground to the left by, let's say, leaving Facebook, leaving YouTube, then all you're doing is allowing them to win. I won't close my social accounts, but if somebody's going to be on like a mainstream platform like Fox or CNN or anything like that, I think we should turn that off because I want to see their ratings as a whole plummet. Well, yeah, I could. Yeah, Fox News is not great. I mean, I don't even. Well, I don't have cable.
They're the lesser of the evils, but I still don't
Yes.
trust
No,
them.
no, I agree with you. I don't watch. I don't go on them. The only time I watch Fox News is two people: Tucker Carlson and Dan Bongino. That's it. I
Mhm.
can't stand Hannity. I've never been. I've never liked Hannity.
I used to love him, and now I'm like,
Nah, couldn't. I could never stand. I didn't like him. Um, I wasn't a Bush supporter, like
mhm,
George Bush. I didn't like him as president, and Hannity used to like kiss his ass, and I couldn't stand it.
mhm,
So I couldn't even listen to him criticize Obama because it's like you're a hack to me.
mhm,
You're not principled. You're you know Bush was this warmonger, and here you are, you know, criticizing Obama for doing drone strikes. But if it was Bush, you would praise it.
mhm.
And to me, it's like if you're going to criticize one, you got to criticize the other. You can't just kiss his butt because I like George Bush, so it's okay for him to bomb people. Like when Trump bombed, like Trump did some bombings, and I didn't like it. And it's like
Mhm.
because I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of like I like that he was trying to end the wars overseas and bring the troops home.
Yeah.
But people, the mainstream media, like you said, hated that. Like if you ever see, the only time if you ever look, there's clips. The only time they said that Trump was presidential when he was bombing Syria,
Mhm.
and I'm
Because they
just
make
like,
that's how they make their money.
oh yeah,
Of course.
bombs and pharmaceuticals.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, that's what's really scary to me is I'm all for like natural remedies and stuff, and I see so many people going, I'm probably going to lose my platform because you're not really allowed to do that anymore. You're not allowed to say, okay, well, instead of going on this medication,
try
change
this.
your diet
Yeah,
or stay on the medication, but also change your diet or,
yeah,
drink more water or
yeah. My
go on
my
this herb or something.
my
You're not allowed to say that.
brother-in-law was diabetic.
Who
And he
was?
changed his my brother-in-law was
Okay.
diabetic. He changed his diet, started exercising, and slowly started to get like the doctors took him off some of his diabetes medication because between changing your diet and regular exercise, he was able to I wouldn't say cure diabetes because I think he ended up getting it back and had to go back on medication. But you know health starts with what you put in your body.
Yep.
It's not drugs, but it's what you eat, and
100%.
getting some exercise. Like I saw, um you put I didn't get to see them yet, but I saw that you put some workout videos too.
I work out. I haven't a lot lately. I'm kind of slacking. But I work out a lot. I Being in a wheelchair, it's one of the main things that I see in like my groups and stuff is how do we lose weight? A lot of it is choice. Like you have to make the choice of whether or not you're going to actually do it. Don't listen to a doctor telling you you shouldn't do something. You know your pain tolerance better than anybody. And energy wise, you're not going to have the energy to do it. So you might as well just start and then gain the energy as you get more endurance and longevity in your workouts. And you don't even really need to do a long workout to either lose or maintain.
No,
It really matters like the intensity of what you're doing. And you don't always I can't even say that because I did I don't know if you know Heidi Powell from Extreme Weight Loss back in the day.
no,
Okay,
I never
well,
watched those shows. I was never really like
I've always
Biggest
been
Loser. No,
fascinated
I
with them.
never. To me, they were always ridiculous because it's like, yeah, you know what? If you put me on a show where I have a
Mhm.
personal chef and I'm able to work out for like 4 or 5 hours a day, I'd be ripped. But then the
Hmm.
minute I leave the show, I'm not going to be ripped anymore.
But
That's why
that's the whole thing is you can go through gastric bypass surgery without a show, and you still have to. It has to be up to you. No matter, there's no quick fix for anything.
no.
But anyways, so Heidi, she did like the Heidi Powell ab challenge, which I did twice.
Okay.
Once with her while she was doing it anyway, and once just on my own because it actually worked. It was 3 exercises, which you really didn't have to do much, which is why I really, really recommend it for people with disabilities or any level of paralysis. I lost 1.5 inches of my waist doing it for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, and that was almost it. I think I did yoga once or twice a week during that time, mostly once a week at that time. And other than that, didn't really do a workout. It took me no more than 10 minutes each time.
Wow. Now
Yeah.
is it for just physically challenged people, or is it
No,
body too?
it was for anybody, and I just decided to do it.
Oh, you got to send me that. If I could, I'm going to Myrtle Beach in a month, so I'm trying to.
Nice.
I'd love to lose an inch and a half in 2 weeks.
We'll talk after. I'll tell you. I'll tell
Yeah,
you what
no,
it.
yeah, no, definitely. But
I mean, you can look up. It was the vacuum twist, and pelvic tilts. But
yeah, I'll forget.
we'll talk.
I don't. My memory doesn't work as well as it used to. You'll see when you hit 40.
No, we'll talk though. But yeah, it's just with people with disabilities, a lot of them also feel like very like, okay, well, I was handed this, so I should be entitled to do whatever I want and not have anything worse happen to me. It's
Yeah.
just I'm already disabled, so like magically everything else should just be perfect, and that's not how it works. And they attribute, and I hate to like sound like I'm talking shit, but
Go. It's okay.
they attribute everything to the disability, and it's really a lot of the time it's not. It's okay if you actually would buckle down and actually drink more water, and that's a big complaint. Get like flavored, like no calorie flavored things if you don't like water, or like eat better.
Well, not
There's a lot of things that people could do to be healthier, and they just choose not to.
I just
for whatever reason,
because I didn't want water. I got BAI.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like this one's coconut flavor, and it's like 10 calories for a 20-ounce bottle.
Nice.
So it's like,
yeah, and I'm not telling anybody like, oh, starve yourself or anything. It's you don't have to do that. You just make better choices in what you decide to do.
Like, instead of filling up on like just with meat and like carbs, like I say like rice, pasta. Make sure you eat a little bit of salad beforehand, because eating that little bit of salad and then going to go eat, whatever you're gonna eat will mean you'll eat less because you filled up on like you on lettuce and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's a simple fix, but people overlook it. It's like because you can eat a whole plate of a lettuce, you're not gonna gain no weight from that. But then don't slop a bunch of salad dressing on it, because then it defeats the purpose. Oh, but I ate a salad. Yeah, but you put a pound of cheese, and you put like Caesar dressing on it, which is more cheese. It's like, no, know what it's like you need flavor for your salad. Take a little bit of olive oil, take a little bit of vinegar, some salt and pepper, and you're good. That's it. And you control. I'm a huge person against eating salad dressing. Like I'll put like a little salt and pepper, or I'll just eat it plain, or mix it with my food. Like if I'm eating rice and beans, I'll take some lettuce, mix it with the rice and beans. Just those type of hacks, because I've lost weight before. I always fluctuate. Like I once I get to like about the 260s is when I go, oh crap, I gotta lose weight. Once I get to like I'm over 40 in pants, and I'm like, oh, not again. I gotta
Well, if you do like the shorter workouts, because that's a big reason that a lot of people don't, is because they think it has to take up so much time or too much energy. If you do the lower intensity and lower time frame consistently instead of just when you're in trouble, it actually helps you sustain.
Yeah, no, I no, I wish it's like I have Insanity Max 30.
Oh boy.
No, but I actually enjoy it. It's not like, it's not something where I tell people, oh, you got to try that. I mean, you got to try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Because if you don't like a workout, I always tell people, if you don't like a workout, you're not going to stick to it.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's the big thing too, is like so
when
many people dread doing it. Sorry.
Mhm.
Telegram came back. I muted
No,
it for an hour, but it came back.
when you when you want to maintain, if you find a workout you enjoy, then stay doing the workout. It will
Mm-hmm.
help you maintain the weight loss. But when you want to actually lose the weight, you need to shock your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you do a low intensity workout, just do something that maybe you haven't done.
Something different. Yeah.
Yeah, just to shock the muscles. For me, I did 15 minutes of insanity this morning. I was just tired this morning, and I'm like, but you know what? I need to start. And even if it's 15 minutes, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I want to create a course of workouts for people. That actually might be my first course that I do, because it's easier than, because I do have a mindset one that I'm thinking about, but that one's gonna be
I think you're gonna have to
a
mute.
lot.
Did you mute
Yeah,
the?
hold on. Let me mute it. Oh boy.
Let me do this. Oh, let's. Oh. Yeah, it's making a funny sound. Hold up, I'm gonna pause it. Yeah, it was just making a buzzing sound.
Yeah, I know. It was annoying.
It's probably
And
because
it
it's
was making me
vibrating. That's what it probably is. It's probably
yeah.
picking up the vibration.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had it on silent, so it was vibrating.
yeah. So, but yes, I want to find out. Most people who I know with disabilities tend to be super liberal, super lefty, and you are definitely not there.
No.
How did you what got you on that journey? Like, how is it that you're not? What stopped you from going down that path?
If I was ever on that path, it would have been the last year and a half that would have made me stop. But I just, my dad was a Democrat, but he was like a normal Democrat, and I think he would always vote top ticket Republican.
Okay.
I think anyway, but he was a union guy
Oh,
and
okay.
all
Yeah.
of that. But when I really started to get into politics was 9/11.
Yeah.
Granted, knowing that it wasn't all of that it seemed it was, now I still would have been I would have been even more Republican, but I that's when
that that
it was
sounds
like
like
it's still the deal.
a different video for
A
Rumble and
different
not
time.
YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll
No.
we'll go down that rabbit hole later, but
Yes.
on a different platform,
Yeah.
probably like you said, Rumble. But yeah, that was when I decided that I was a Republican.
Mm.
Nowadays, I'm a Trump Republican because I don't like either establishment side. I'm not like, nobody come after me. I'm not anti-government. I'm anti-big government. I feel like first of all, when I really started to try to help people with disabilities, there's over 54 million Americans, and $200 billion is supposed to be allocated to us. Do the math. We shouldn't be like, I think it's over 50% of the world's poorest people,
Mhm.
government wise. Like, it's my dream to be able to sustain myself off of a
Yeah.
government check, but that's very hard once you're on it, because
I
they
know.
penalize you every time you try
Oh, I
on your
know.
own to get off of it.
They
It's
my
very hard.
when my son was born, we tried to collect. We tried to get Social Security
Hmm.
for him when he and they told us we made too much money, and I'm like, what do you mean we make too much money? Yeah, we had too much. You couldn't have more than $3,000 in the bank account.
Yeah, I think my dad made too much money, but then when I turned 18 or 21, I started getting
Hmm.
a government check. And the one time that I decided, because he had just gotten very, very sick at the time. He was only sick a year before he passed.
Oh wow.
But around that time, I was doing a seasonal job, board of elections, under a family member who was a Democrat. Funny enough, because you have to know somebody to get one of those jobs.
Of course.
Um, I was only like like a call center person.
Yeah.
But it helped me at the time, or so I thought, until I worked overtime a few nights, got my paycheck, but then didn't get my state check that month,
Yep.
not realizing. And there are loopholes where like you could go do like a right to work type thing, but those programs, I feel like it should just be the standard where, okay, you can work, and once you make what your check is, they can take you off. Not before that.
Yeah.
That should be the standard to me. And I feel like more people with disabilities would get a job that way. And another thing when it comes to me being Republican that would make me Republican now if I wasn't already, is what they're doing to the buildings on the left. And so all of those groups that are like destroying cities, there's plenty of places that are not wheelchair accessible, and it drives me crazy, but I would never go that far. I would never be like, oh, all right, torch it, build it from the ground up again, because first of all, there's chances are when they rebuild it, it's not going to be correct anyway, because they don't know. They never asked me. They never asked somebody with a disability, all right, can you, which I would love to do, by the way. If anybody watches this, or you know anybody who is like a building owner that they need to know how big their bathroom has to be, or how big their elevator has to be, where it has to be, whatever, I will do that. I would gladly do something like that, because I do think buildings need to be more wheelchair accessible. But if it's already built, there's like chair lifts or whatever on stairs. There's different things that you could do to the bathrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I trust me. I get it, because it's like, for me, my biggest pet peeve is being able to change my son, because they have changing areas for, let's say, for babies. But when it comes to changing my 14-year-old, they'll tell me, oh well, you can just change them on the floor. Like, I'm not going to change my son on no bathroom floor. Are you serious? No. The best place I went to was a rest stop in, I think it was in New Mexico, either New Mexico or Arizona, where they actually had a concrete table that, I don't know if it was a chair or whatnot, but I was able to change him so comfortable on there. And it's like, that's what you need, I'm not saying that all the, in rest stops, especially the rest stops around the country. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's certain places where it should be standard.
I'm gonna
But
let me
what you
just
said
pause this
about
for one.
New
Give me 1 second.
Mexico and Arizona, what?
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay. So when you said about Arizona and New Mexico, it made me think. Because I look up different things about different areas of the country and what's good for the disabled and what's not. A lot of the areas for the disabled are in some of the worst cities in America. Now I get it, because it's like the bigger cities, there's more public transportation there. It's easier to navigate. But on the end of somebody who has a disability, instead of like being somebody who's creating it for people with disabilities, I'm looking at it as somebody who has one. I would not want to be in an area that's going to get me killed just because it has some buses, some trains, and you kind of want somebody with you then. It's not a way to be independent.
My cousin, it's funny you said my cousin moved to Chicago. Yeah.
I have people who tell me that Chicago is not unsafe.
Yeah, statistics say otherwise.
Yeah. And I have a friend who lives in a safe area of Atlanta, but that's like astronomically priced.
Yeah.
It's like there's no middle class anymore. It's you're either in a high-end area or you're in a shithole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I'm out in the, I'm in a rural area where to me, to get to let's say to get to ShopRite for me is like 15 minutes. If I want to go to Walmart, it's like a half an hour, 25 minutes. Just because.
Well, that's pretty much Walmart for me. How far we are from Walmart, but I mean, there's people who live closer, and it's still the same type of area.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the Dallas suburbs, and what I miss about that is literally if I was like less than a mile from a Walmart. It was 0.9. I Googled it. It was 0.9 miles from Walmart.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I could bike ride to Walmart. That's how close I was. And I had like 2 or 3 supermarkets within 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that. Now I got to make sure that I make a list because I don't want to have to go back,
Oh, no. Or you could just online order.
Yeah, but I still have to go pick it up.
You do? Really? They don't deliver it? Like Instacart or something? Doesn't do Walmart?
Not out here.
That stinks.
We
don't really have a good Walmart, so I couldn't even tell you if they would do it out here, but stinks.
Yeah. So no, so you said you were a Trump Republican. You gotta tell me the story that you told me offline.
Oh, the one that I was gonna tell you because I didn't get
into it. You didn't get into it. I want to hear the story. You didn't get to tell me.
Okay, so I want to say it was beginning of April 2016. He was still on the campaign trail, and he was out here in New York. Thank God he was a New York businessman because normally we don't get the Republicans out here.
No.
It's like New York is off the list. Yeah. Mind you, I kind of think maybe he won it in 2020, but that's another story.
Yeah, another story.
Hopefully we find out the truth one day. Maybe, maybe not. But anyways, so of course, I wanted to go. He was on the campaign trail, and my cousin and her maternal grandmother, they wanted to go. She wanted to go, so her maternal grandmother drove us. And we got there around 8:30 in the morning. And by mid-afternoon, me and a bunch of, a handful of veterans, we got let in first. And I noticed, because I've been to plenty of concerts, I noticed that we were like in the middle of the floor, but there was a gate. And I'm like, I get it. He's kind of sought after or hated. There's no middle ground with him. You either love him or hate him.
Yep.
But they can't be that afraid that somebody's going to stampede. So what's going on? And so I started asking, and then I see a bunch of people come in, and it was all VIP. So I'm sitting there in a wheelchair looking at either people's butts or their backs because I can't see past them. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I'm like, we came out here. I'm not going to say from what town to what town. Yeah. But I'm like, we came out here and I'm not going to see. I can't have that. So I called security. And they were like, yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. I'm like, okay, but you don't understand. I've been out here since like 8:30 in the morning. I'm not going to just turn around and go home.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we'll see, give me a minute. So he goes somewhere and he comes back and he looks at me and he goes, kind of like, I know the look by now, kind of like challenging me. He's like, okay, if you, and I was in the middle of an aisle or whatever. So I'm like, he goes, if you can make it to that side, I can try to place you somewhere. So I go to the person next to us. I'm like, okay, can you just make way for me? Everybody did. It was fine. Turns out I was on the side of the stairs where Trump was going to walk up and down to the stage. I met Brian Kilmeade that night, and I met the Baldwin brother, who's a Republican. I forgot the name. Stephen, I think.
Oh, Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen. I met him. Yeah. I was literally behind the gate from the Trump kids. They were like literally right there.
Wow.
Hilarious, laughing at me because I was all build the wall, MAGA, and all. I was crazy. Yeah, I was very into it.
You should have got pictures with them.
Oh, I do. I have them. Mm-hmm. So, as it was, because I had by that time seen a bunch of speeches that he was making already, so I knew when it was winding down. So I turned to his kids and I'm like, "Is there any chance that you can kind of like wave him over?" And they're like, "We'll see what we can do." Immediately, he touches down the stairs. They wave him.
Of course, they're nice people.
They're amazing people. So all I said to him was, what did I say to him? I'm like, I think you're gonna win. I'm like, we need you to win. We need you to do everything that you said you're gonna do. Mm-hmm. And he thanked me. He grabbed my hand and he signed it. When I got in the car after, I took a picture of it so that I could wipe it off and not lose his signature on me. So I have a picture of that too. But I'm drawing a blank of everything that, because it was very quick. But he stayed, and I'm like, oh, that's what I said. I said, I know I'm not your typical Republican, but I like that because you're not either.
Yep.
I said, I don't believe anything about the women, because there was the rumors about the women at the time. Yeah. And I was like, I don't believe anything with the disabled or whatever. And I just want you to know that we don't all hate you. Right. And if that was the only thing I could ever say to that man, I'm happy. But I do want to meet him again if he runs again.
Well, I have an idea for how to get you your 20 extra subscribers that you need.
Oh, I need like 120 because I'm like 120 something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I have an idea to get you your 120. We'll talk about it when I end the stream. We'll talk about it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So wow, that's great. I mean, I would just to it would be. I mean, just to be able to get to say that little bit to him. That's just
Oh yeah.
That's
priceless,
awesome.
Because it was like usually they're rushed completely off.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I was going to get that close to him because I mean he's like and that's something that I love about him to this day. I mean he was just at the UFC thing. Yeah. I think it was UFC. It was some UFC. Fight.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was the UFC. It was the McGregor fight. He
just walks through the crowd. And that's what I think everybody should love about him is no, he's not like gonna get us bombed with the thing with the nuclear codes and everybody being afraid of that. No, I felt so safe with him as president, first of all, but he's very personable. He's unafraid of everything. Like they've literally thrown everything but the kitchen sink at the man, and he's still willing to put everything on the line for us.
Teflon Don.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to we could leave it there. I think I'd love to have you on again, so like that we could uh go into more stuff. But you know,
Definitely. If I
we've
didn't
been
scare your audience away, I will definitely be
I
back.
I extremely doubt it. I mean, you might scare more of your audience away, but
Yeah, probably.
but I'm going to say I'm going to get you more. We'll like I said, we'll talk. Um, well, I'm the Ray Rican. Everyone who I'm going to post this on YouTube and Rumble, and you can follow me on social media. I'm on uh, Twitter, Facebook, Gab, Parlor, Telegram, and Marissa, where can on social media, is there any particular place that you would prefer people to follow you?
Well, you can go to my link tree. It's Linktree or linktr dot.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking. I have a link tree too. I'll put it in the description in the
Yeah,
video to make it
because
easier.
that has all my social and all my everything else
Yeah,
that you
all
could.
your
Yeah.
links and stuff. Okay. Well, I hope everyone's enjoyed the video. Please leave me some comments, and um like I always say, have a good one, everyone. And